Well, hey friends, it's Ty Frederick at Broken Road Ranch, all about the good of the horse for the glory of God. Coming to you today with just a training tip. It's spring, it's lunging season. So a few little things about lunging I thought I would pass along here today. I'm surprised, first of all, at how few people actually lunge their horses. How many people are apparently a lot braver than I am, crawl right up on those woolly buggers after they've been sitting, and hopefully they haven't been sitting, but in our part of the world, you keep a few horses going in the winter, but to be honest with you, a lot of them get out of shape, or they all get a little out of shape, and some of them get way out of shape. Chiquita hasn't seen a whole lot of action, so before I put myself over the top of her, here first thing, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of lunging. So, a few safety points before you do. I personally like to tack up before I lunge if possible. It's spring, they're out of shape. Boots. Don't forget that. There's nothing more discouraging than going, hey, it's spring. You take your horse out, you lunge, and you lame them up first day. That's a bummer, okay? So I like to tack them up myself. That just helps me save a step, make sure that we don't get humped from the saddle and all that stuff later on. And as such, when you do tack up, of course, and I've seen this happen, and I've done this myself, forget to check the cinch, and they get out there and they feel a little good and they kick up and your saddle starts to go south and everything else goes with it. So don't forget, you don't need to cut them in half, okay? You don't need to cut them in half, but you do need to make sure that that saddle isn't gonna slip, all right? Even if they buck and kick a little bit, okay? Now bucking and kicking and all that's not the point. In fact, I disagree with that pretty strongly, but it does happen, and this is a better time than when we're topside. So check your gear, put them in boots, and I am a big advocate on lunge lines being big, thick things such as this. Raise your hand if you've ever had an involuntary ski trip. I had one. Most of it was right here on my nose across the arena with one of those little flat tape lunge lines. The thing just, the horse took off. I hadn't wrapped or any other such thing, but that thing tied me in a knot, and I could run for a while, and I kept up for a while, but I couldn't run the whole time. So it was a bit of a ski trip, and I did not enjoy it. And I have not used one since, because boy, that hurt. So I'm a big advocate of a nice, big, thick lunge line. So if you get a chance, they're worth finding a way to make one. Tree climbing rope is really excellent. You'll be really happy. I like this one. I got this one from Mr. Scott DiPaolo years ago. He was using them as highline ropes, if I remember correctly. Had a bunch of extras, and we built a bunch of these then. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it, buddy. So that's kind of some equipment things to keep in mind before you lunge. When you do go to lunge, remember, the point is not necessarily to get them to buck and kick and be stupid. The point is, to get a hold of their mind. Come on, Keeter. Come on. So we don't have to get them out there and try to get to tear up the world, okay? What we want to do is we want to get them out there, let them move, give them an opportunity to get the fresh off, okay? So we're going to do things, and I personally, especially when they're fresh, I don't fight with them a ton at this moment. You know, she feels a little good. She wants to trot. I'm not going to fight with her to try to get her to walk. I'm not going to push her on either. That's up to you. I know some people really hate. Good curl. I'm trying to get over in the shot and I'm confusing her. I know some people really hate that, and I get it. But for me, if she feels a little fresh, I'm going to let her fresh a little bit, okay? Now, when it comes to the lunging piece, hate it when they pull on you. So if they start to pull, if they take the slack out, pull and drive. Okay? We want to have a little slack in that lunge line all the time. You should not feel like you're getting dragged around. Okay, so if they do, and a lot of horses do, especially with fresh, we pull and we drive. Okay? We want to continue the impulsion, but we want to take away the pull. Okay? Now, I'm a little different in the way that I like to stop them. I do not stop them and let them turn in. That's just not that's a big no-no for me. And that's not everybody, and I respect that very much. But for me, that's been a big no-no. So when I go to stop them, what I like to do is I actually sit down, ho, ho, and I'll take a little step in front. If they don't listen that first time, homer. And I want them to stop out here on the circle. Okay? I want them to look at me, but not face me. Okay, now, direction change. We're going to pull their nose to the inside, step to the outside, drive with that outside hand. You notice I switched hands on as far as which one had the coils and which one is holding the horse. We go the other direction. Okay, and she's kind of looking out. There she starts to come back. She's looking out. I'm just going to give a little bump, a little tickle in the rope, as I like to call it. There you go. And now we're going to execute another stop here. Okay, so I'm going to sit down, raise my hand, ho. Right there, she kind of started blowing off, so I'm going to step out there, ho. Okay, and this happens a lot. If they do that, they start to change directions without asking. Then they get to go back to work the same direction, and in a short order, ho. We stop them, ho. Okay, that's all right. We can fix this, ho. And there she settles. Good girl. Now, I'll approach her. Okay, she's trying to think ahead of me here. Okay, pretty common, a little bit of fresh. That's okay. She's trying to think ahead of me. She's like, change directions. Well, no, ma'am. We're not changing directions. I just want to stop and get your brain. Next stop. Make sure she's got slack. Good. Now whoa. And if she just insists on it, I'm going to step up there to her eye till I get her shoulder back out and facing right here on the circle. It's really important. Okay? There's just a few little tips on lunging. 'Tis the season. Now get out there, enjoy and lunge your horse. For heaven's sake, enjoy spring. God bless you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.